have a card here which is of the conversion rate, and the chart which I've used here is called as the God chart. This is a pretty much cool chart where you have the 0, you have the 100, and you get to see the the conversion rate or the percentage into a kind of the gauge. So you can see 45% of the trips are converted from the total number of searches which is happening. We want to show this information into the form of gauge chart. Let us see how to do this. Now to show this, you can see I don't have any direct information present here onto the total number of trips which have been completed. So what is exactly that 45%? So if you just see, the 45% is nothing but total number of trips which have been completed divided by the total number of searches which have been happened, and this comes out to be 45%. Now friends, we need to do this calculation here, but into Power BI, this is a bit, not complex, but you need to take extra steps here. So what is the step which we need to take? The steps which you need to take here is onto the trip under score details table. You can see all of these three dots. You can see we need to create a new kind of a measure to calculate this particular thing. The same calculation which I did onto my calculator, I need to create using Power BI. So I need to click onto the new measure here. As soon as I click on this, I would like to give the name as conversion rate. So what is the conversion rate? So conversion rate is nothing but it will be the sum of searches which is present into the trip underscore details column. I'll be dividing this with similarly total number of the total number of end right which is present. I think I did it reverse. This should be to the denominator. I'll control X, control V. Let us hit the enter button. You can see some calculation is happening in the background, and a new metric which has come here with a calculator sign. As you can see, that's why I had used calculator. So the calculator means that if you have calculated this value, it was not present from before. This conversion rate, I'll click on this conversion rate. I'll bring this here. This is present into the chart, but I'll be converting this into the God chart form. And you can see here this has been converted very nicely. Let us do one thing. Let us enhance this also. Let me quickly see conversion rate. Let us start with the gauge axis. Do I need to change anything here? Let's make this as dark black. It looks good. The data labels. Let's make it bold. Go to the general tab. The title which is present is the conversion rate. Let us make this bold also. Into the effect, the background color, I'll just change it to this. So you can see we have created the gauge chart also using this. And we will change one more thing. We'll give a radius to the borders also. So let us give the radius of 18. As usual, I would request you to keep a similar kind of theme or design for each of the cards which you are creating. Formatting looks somewhat clean. So the next things which we'll be creating is all of these different three charts, which are trips versus duration, pair versus duration, distance versus duration. So the duration, I mean, the 24 hours I have, breaking into 24 parts of the duration. If I open my duration table here, the 24 hours I have broken into 24 IDs, separate IDs. So into all of these IDs, basically the number of trips which are happening, the total number of fare which have taken place, total number of distance which have been covered. So all of these information we are having here. This is also going to be somewhat simple because it is Namma Yatri application. You can see they also have three charts, a similar kind of charts which are present here, and the bucket also you can see they have created for 1 hour. Create all of these different charts. So the table which I'll be using for this purpose will be the trips table because I have the duration here and I have all the other things present here. So first of all, let us create the trips versus duration. So I'll use this line chart. So into the line chart, into the x-axis, I want to have the duration, and into the y-axis, I want to count the total number of trips ID, which you can see I have got the color of these lines which are present. So I'll go into this color. I'll change the color to a dark one. I want the title. I don't want to get the title, or let us get this and change the title name. So the title name should be trips versus duration. Into the effects, you can see this is white. I'll change it to the same color. Let us on all of these. Doesn't make a difference. That's it. I'll do one thing. I'll copy paste this for all the other things. The three things, the three different metrics which I want to demonstrate here. You can just see how simple it is to create all of these things. So here right now, what is the second thing which I want to calculate? The second thing is the fare, and the third thing was the difference. So remove this from here. I want to sum the fare, and into the third, I want to calculate the total number of distance. Title is distance versus duration. If you want to make it bold, you can make it bold also. You can play around it as the way you want. I'm just giving a basic overview how to create a dashboard onto the Power BI. You can do a lot of different things on your own, and that I would like to encourage also to explore a lot of different things from your end also. Just don't restrict yourself from whatever I'm just displaying onto the video. Just explore from your end also what more you can try to implement so that it will help you into your applications as well. So here I'll select a different color. That's it. And the third sheet, I'll just go here. So this is fare versus duration, and I need to change the title. This is fare versus duration. That's it. We have created three charts. Now coming to a very complex thing is creating this table. So this table is not easy as how it looks here, because you can see first column I have the assembly name, and into the next column I have the total number of searches which took place, total number of searches which got estimate, searches which got codes, searches which with trip distance, and many other things. So friends, we need to do some kind of modification or a transform which we saw to the very first instance when we were ingesting the data. What kind of transform we need to do here? So all of these different data which I'm having, I want to join one table with the other table so that I can have all the relevant data into just one table, and then from there I'll be going on to create the output which you can see onto the Power BI dashboard. So the tables which I'll be joining is the trip underscore details. Here you can see I have the location from. So I want to get the assembly names. I have the location IDs. I want to get the assembly names. So here I'll be doing an inner join with the assembly table with the trip details table. I'll do an inner join, and afterwards to get the other things such as total number of fare and everything, we want to again do a left join of the result which will be getting by doing an inner join of trip underscore details table. This will be inner join with assembly. And after this happened, so this is the first step. The second step which we'll be doing here will be the output. Let us name this as the output one, which will be getting. So output one, I'll be doing a left join with the trips table, because if you will clearly see that into the trip underscore details, I have around 2162 different trip IDs, and into the trips table I have 983 trip IDs. So into the trips table I just have information on all of those trip IDs which have successfully completed or which have successfully ended. This is the information, the difference between the information which we are having. So you'll tell me from where we can do all of these operations. Inner join, left join, it was all limited to SQL. Now we need to do it in the Power BI. But from where we can do, don't worry. That is why I am creating this video. So here we need to go to the home tab. I'll just expand this a bit. You can see the transform data. I'll click on this transform data. You can see I have the data ready here. Let me do one thing. I will copy, close this file. Close this file also. I hope the idea is pretty much clear. So the first thing we should be doing is inner joining of trip details with the assembly table. So how to do a join, how to perform a join. You can see this merge queries thing. I'll click on the drop down. I'll click on the second option, will create from a new. So merge queries and new as new. I'll click on this. You can see I have got two different drop downs. So here on we can select the tables on which you want to join. So the first drop down, I will select the trip underscore details and onto which table which I want to join. So I want to join onto the assembly table. After we have done this, you can see this OK button is still disabled. How to enable it? So to enable this, you want to select the common columns on which they need to join. So after you have selected the common column on which they need to join, it will be enabled likewise, as you can see here, and it will show also like the total number of results you'll be getting onto the output. After we have got this, I'll click on the OK button. You can see we have got a new table which is called as the merge one. So into the merge one, we need to click on this and we need to click on the OK. So we have clicked, you can see both the tables have been merged into the merge one table, and the table is renamed as merge one. So game is still not over. We want to do one more thing, and the thing is something like we want to do a left join onto the trips table. Again, we need to perform the same thing. Merge queries as new. We want to create a new query, and onto this I'll click onto the output which we have got here. I will do a left join onto the trips, and I'll do a left outer, and I need to click on the common columns which I'm having here. So you can see the selection matches 983 of 216 source from the first table. I'll click on OK. You can see all the three tables have been matched. Now I'll do the same operation. I'll click here, I'll click on OK. I'll get all the new columns here. After all of these different things I've done onto my Power Query editor, I'll have to close and apply. Click on to close and apply, and you can see it will take some time to merge our tables. The new tables have come up. To this we can create the table here. I'll bring on to the table, expand this bit, and after this let us see what all columns do I want to get. I want to get the assembly columns from the very first. The second column which I want to get is the total number of searches which happened. Then total number of searches which had for codes, searches which got codes. Basically, let us get all of these different columns. So it's pretty much simple now. and you can see it is quite interesting because all of this information we are having. Why do I did I created this particular table? This was because to the Namma Yatri website also we have a similar kind of table where we have the assembly name and the total number of searches, ongoing trips, completed trips, conversion rate, driver earnings. All of these information are present. So I'm just trying to replicate this onto the application. So if you remember, we also calculated the conversion rate, correct? And that was onto the overall basis. That was the 45%. But will that conversion rate, if I bring here, will that be valid? Will that work? Let us see. So where's the conversion rate? Here it is. Let us bring this and let us see the magic. And if you would see that the conversion rate basically works. So here you can get a glance on a much deeper level that onto which assembly area the conversion rate is very low and how I can improve into that area, how I can improve my operations. All of these information you can get very easily here. Let's try to make this a bit more, good looking. We go to the visuals. Let us explore one by one. You don't need to remember all of these things. Same color. Click on the border. I'll select each and every border here. Values. I'll just bold this out. Rather, we'll bold the column headers instead the values. I'll bold the column headers. That looks good. Everything is fine. I think everything is fine here. We don't need to write anything for the title. So this is pretty much all about how do we when to create this particular table. We will use the same merge table which we have created. We'll use to create this map view, which you can see here, the last view. So the map view is pretty much interesting also. So let us see how to create this. So to create the map view, just click here onto the map. I'll bring this assembly here. I'll just zoom it out. You can see I've got this Bengaluru map here with the bubbles. So these bubbles are nothing but location which have been identified present here. Now how I can use this map? So I can use all of these representation which you are seeing here onto the map. See that I have a bubble size. So let us do one thing. Let us get the bubbles for the trip IDs. That to count of trip ID. So the larger the trips in a particular area, the larger is the bubble. So friends, we have created almost a similar looking chart because this kind of chart is not present onto the Power BI yet. That is what I think until and unless you have a advanced version. There is this ArcGIS map which is present here, but I don't know how to activate this. If anybody of you is having any idea onto this, please comment down and we will go through this also. This was all about creating the dashboard here. You can play around into a lot of more different things. Let us create the header and the slicer. So to create the header, I want to get this Namma Yatri logo. So I'll just quickly click here onto the insert and then I'll click onto this image and I'll get the image. You can see I've got the image. I'll bring this image here. So after this, let us create this trips dashboard section. How do I create this? So you can see this text box. So into the text box, I'll write here trips dashboard. I'll need to bring this here, decrease the size. Let us make this bold, background color to black. Let's change this. And I'll keep a complete transparency. change the font color to white. From here, let us change the font size to a bigger one. I'll make this bold also. And at the last, let us create the slicer. How does this slicer? It helps. So from the slicer, you can click onto any of the assembly area and you'll get an overview of that assembly area. So how interactive it is of using the slicers. So I'll go to the slicer section here. And from the slicer, you can actually select the field which you want to keep. You can see I've kept the field of the assembly. I'll go to the general. I'll click on the title. I like to give a title to the slicer, which is select assembly. And I'll go to the effect. We'll click on the background. I'll give a similar kind of background. I'll move the slicer here. I'll go to the visual again and I'll go to the slicer setting. Instead of vertical, let us create this under drop down form. You can see we have created exactly the same dashboard which I had initially into my video. So from the slicer, anybody can select any of the assembly and they can see the data for that particular assembly. And also here also, if you, let's say I want to check for Bomna, I can just click here onto the Bomna and you can see that the data is quite interactive. The conversion rate is increased from 0.45 to 0.5. The completed trips is 29, such as 58. So you can see the using the slicers, using the tables, how data points are changing. I hope this particular video was quite useful to you. I was getting a lot of different requests to create a project onto the Power BI. I have tried my best to demonstrate of the Power BI skills a fresher can into their interview. So this particular video, which is a very real kind of project because something has been implemented and is successfully working and you are trying to replicate it, or rather trying to invest your time to understand things and then you are trying to replicate something from the real industrial work. So it pretty much helps when you put these kind of projects into your resume. Don't forget to miss my video on the data exploration task on the Namma Yatri application. If you found this video quite informational and useful, so don't forget to hit the like button and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Till then, meet you in the next video. Thank you so much. Bye.